Social friends, welcome back to my channel. Today, straight from Piazza del Duomo, I wanted to show it to you, also for those who follow me in other languages, so I can show you a bit of Milan. We're here in the city center, still from my supercar. Today we're talking about descent. Attention. Attention 10. No. Actually, we're talking about freedom of thought, freedom of speech, about freedom. Why? Because, well, I'm quite libertine. Those who know me from the other channel know that, and not everyone obviously has to be like me. Usually, being libertine brings trouble, brings problems, so maybe not to my level, okay? But I think the advice I give to everyone, it's personal advice, is that you should always be able to speak your mind. I mean, accepting what others decide isn't right. But I think, and this is advice that I give to everyone, it's personal advice, that you should always be able to have your say. I mean, accepting what others decide isn't right. It's not right. It will never benefit you. I mean, I'm so crazy that in my mind, I wouldn't have accepted even slavery. I mean, when slavery existed, if I had been there, I wouldn't have been able to live a life of slavery. Of course, I would have died. They would have killed me first, so I was wrong. But I wouldn't have been able to stay a slave my whole life, obviously. It's not like you just play the fool. You react immediately, you get yourself killed, and you haven't solved anything. Of course, I would have died. They would have killed me first, so I was wrong. But I wouldn't have been able to stay a slave my whole life, obviously. It's not like you just play the fool. You react immediately, you get yourself killed, and you haven't solved anything. Always with your head, right? But maybe back in the days of slavery, when you might have had a slave wife and had children who were also slaves, I wouldn't have been able to handle it. I mean, it's just not in my nature. So I would have rebelled with my head. I mean, it's just not in my nature. So I would have rebelled with my head. I definitely would have waited for the right moment. I mean, should have brought at least one with me. I mean, at least I had to bring one with me. Let those who want to understand. It's not like I would just die alone like a poor fool, but I couldn't live a life of slavery. Fortunately, this no longer exists. But if everyone had thought like I do, slavery wouldn't have existed. Because it's clear that everyone would have rebelled. They would have rebelled. Today, even the verbs exist. Slavery didn't exist. And I see the same thing in many little things even today. Today, they're taking away more and more of our freedom. Now they've increased the fines, they've raised them here. Less and less freedom. And we're becoming more and more like slaves. It's something I don't really accept. Maybe it's because I've lived in Italy. I've grown up here in Italy. So you always have this illusion of being able to escape the rules. In other countries, it's a bit less so. The rules are right. We need rules to live in a civilized way. We're not in the jungle, but too many rules aren't good. I mean, you always need to have the ability and the mindset to understand things, especially if you don't trust those who make the rules. This is a given. So, what I want to tell you is to always keep at least a little bit of spirit inside you. Not necessarily rebellious, but the ability to speak your mind. So maybe if you have to accept something you don't agree with, something that's not right, accept it, but always with the mindset that you can change it. Why? Because it's right to change it. If you think it's right to change it, then it's right to change it. And so you have to fight to change it. Then whether you'll succeed or not, that's another story. That's another story. Maybe we'll talk about it in another video. But you at least have to try to change it. You at least have to try, because if you don't even try, that's what you're living for. I mean, if you don't fight for what you believe in, what are you living for? Just to be a number that will then be passed down in a bad way in the future. If you can change even a little, even a cent toward what you believe is right, then your life has been worthwhile. But if you accept everything they give you, what are you living for? When you die, you won't have been of any use. Or not. Let me know what you think. Today it's a short video. Subscribe to the channel, follow me in any language you want. I appreciate it, and you can always find me here every morning at 7, just like always. Hey there, beautiful people.